This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hello, and happy Friday. Welcome to the Wisconsin Live Desk. I'm Derica Williams at the controls today, kind of taking over for a little bit for Carl until Ben comes in this afternoon. If you're new to the Live Desk, welcome. We're just checking out all things just kind of going on behind me, seeing what's going on around the country live and bringing them to you so we can just talk about it, pop in. It's just a pretty cool way just to see what's going on in different parts of our community. We may dip into some of the reporters giving us a preview of some of the stories that they're working on, and also perhaps seeing what's going on in other parts of the state, even the country and the world, depending on what's happening literally right now during Wisconsin Live Desk. But the big news right now is weather, and I do want to check in with Lisa right now before she left. So Lisa's she just finished WWE on Fox Local, but I do want to talk about weather because lots of folks are starting Summerfest celebrations from yesterday into today, but this weekend's going to be a hot one. So Lisa, let's get a quick check-in with you, if you don't mind, about what to expect.
What we are going to be expecting is, yes, we have the green screen behind me right now, but what we're going to be tracking, it's all about the heat. And Derica, I've been with you earlier today as well, talking about how it's the first weekend of Summerfest. And with the first weekend of Summerfest, we're going to be focusing on the heat headlines. What we're tracking across southeast Wisconsin and really the entire state of Wisconsin, it is heat advisories and heat warnings. Right now, the warnings are issued for Milwaukee, Racine, and Kenosha counties, where heat indices could be up to 105, while everywhere else could be up to 103. Needless to say, though, triple-digit heat indices, that means we have to be very careful if you're going to be outside, because things like heat stroke, cramps, exhaustion, fainting, all these kinds of related illnesses are possible as that heat looks to come in just in time for the weekend. Now, in terms of timing, this will start at noon on Saturday and go through 7 p.m. on Monday. So even carrying into the upcoming work week, it's not going to be the best if you're headed outside for longer durations. Again, this can easily creep up on you. And the reason why we have these headlines out, again, it's not just the warm temperatures in the 90s that'll be here, but we're really bringing in a tropical air mass that is going to make it harder to breathe. It's going to make it harder for your body to cool off. Your body's natural tendency when you get hot is to sweat, right? But that sweat is not going to be able to evaporate off of your body as easily as we head into the weekend, because it's already going to have so much moisture in the air. So when that sweat stays on your skin, it actually causes your body to overheat. So yes, Derica, we are tracking this very closely. You know, we've been out there as well in the summer months, especially Summerfest, when it is very hot and humid.
Yeah, because
there we go. We got one of the graphics up there. This is going to be the main concern as we head into the weekend. Now, it's possible that we either might change the headlines, whether someone could be added to a warning like this pink color, or we even extend this into Tuesday of next week. That's all details we're going to have to watch closely. But again, the main thing here is all of Milwaukee County, Racine, Kenosha counties under that heat warning. We have everyone else under the advisory, and this goes from noon on Saturday until 7 p.m. on Monday. So summer officially starts today. It is the longest day of the year in terms of daylight, and we are bringing in the heat and those higher dew points just in time for the first few days of summer.
All right, Lisa, thank you so much. And that's the whole thing, is just kind of being weather aware. So we appreciate your quick little forecast, and go enjoy your weekend. And once again, stay hydrated, and we will keep folks prepared as they go out to Summerfest. So I'm just going to take down some of these mics just so you guys can make sure that you're hearing me. Speaking of Summerfest, I do want to talk about it. We were out there yesterday for opening day, reporting live during Wake Up, and it was such a fun time. Rob and I were out there until the gang met us there for Real Milwaukee, and it started off kind of rainy and it was a little bit dewy, but then the sun came out, and it was just a beautiful start to the celebrations of Summerfest and all things just kind of going on for the summer. We had a great time with Stomp Out Hunger too. I believe over the 4 or 5 hour span that we had folks kind of coming through, dropping off donations. We made about 24,000 meals worth of food that was donated to us. We had folks just kind of line up earlier in the day, and they got in free actually between 12 and 3 yesterday, just with dropping off 3 cans. We had pretty much everybody out there from our FOX6 talent crew collecting cans, just saying hi and meeting people, but it was all because of you guys and the support from the community that made this happen. So once again, it was a great start for a kickoff, and not only are we supporting our local community, but also as a way to get in for free. And if you don't know, pretty much any day on Summerfest, you can find a way to get in free. So we can talk about that in just a little moment. But I do want to kind of talk about Summerfest a little bit because the doors just opened a short while ago, and folks are perhaps preparing for the concerts tonight, all of the entertainment. So maybe we can pull up a couple of people who are performing. So this is who's performing tonight, June 20th, at the U.S. Cellular Connection stage. And that's a stage that FOX6 is partnering with, so I'm sure you'll see a lot of us there throughout the 3 weekends of Summerfest. 4:45, we have Vincent Van Great. Then we have 6:30 p.m., we have Danielle. 8:15, Hoodie Allen, and 10 p.m., Mike Posner. A lot of these folks, you know, sometimes you may not know them, but going by the music, just kind of hearing it, you may want to hear a different genre. You may want to say, hey, I like their music. I want to learn more about them. That's one of the fun things I feel about Summerfest. We learned yesterday, we kept saying, is it Nile X Nile, Nile by Nile? He was another one who was performing that I did not know of. And apparently he is a Milwaukee native from the north side. He performed yesterday. There was another Milwaukee person, I believe his name was, he goes by his rap name of Rap J, and he was performing yesterday too. But tonight we also have Hozier, Gigi Perez, so many different genres. I know Rob is going to Hozier tonight, so that's going to be a really, really good one. Tomorrow, Jason Mraz and Tiny Habits with James Taylor. Now that's going to be amazing. I know Nicola's going with that with her mom. But once again, as I said, her mom is because there are so many different age ranges that I feel like Summerfest can accommodate. I'm going to be on July 3rd with my daughter and 6 of her closest teeny bopper friends. We're going to go see Benson Boone. So I feel like Summerfest just gives everybody a little bit of something. Let's see who else is performing on this opening weekend. We can keep taking a look. In the meantime, I know that we had, how was it last night? I think Bow Wow opened up last night. We have Todd Cameron. That's going to be a good one. Lady Bird. Oh, and one of my favorites yesterday at the BMO Harris Pavilion, we had Eric Benet. I know he came on yesterday morning to talk a little to Carl about his performance and just kind of some of the new things that he's been doing in terms of like acting and his new album. So we're getting to hear a lot about what people are doing. I don't know if we have any more Summerfest headlines that we could perhaps pull up. If not, no worries about it. If you're headed down there, there are some things that you do need to know about general information, baggage, ticket policies, things like that. So that is so key because with this weather, you may want to, bring a little extra in terms of, waters and, beverages and stuff. You don't have to because everything you need is pretty much down there, but you will want to bring a bag that will get through security. So these are what's approved right here on your screen. So you can do a tote or a purse. So that's about 9 by 10 by 12. That's the maximum size now that you can bring. A cinch bag is always great. So that's like 9 by 10 by 12 as well. I think those are good because you can just kind of fold them up if you don't need them, bring a couple of extras. Sometimes you get, little tchotchkes when you're around from some of the activations that they have. So those are good to just kind of keep in your pocket anyway. I feel like just to pop out and put that stuff in. And of course, a small clutch or a purse for me. I love a good little crossbody because then my hands are free. You can have a beverage, you can kind of, wave your hands in the air to the music, and you're just hands-free and easy to kind of move around when it gets crowded. So don't forget the bag policy. So definitely what you don't want to bring, those backpacks, those large purses. And I know it's tempted to carry a messenger bag or even, a camera bag because you want to capture the moments, but do not bring those. Those will not, you'll have to go back to the car. You will not be admitted, or there's no place to even check them. I'm going to double check, though, about the water policy tomorrow because I know it says no coolers, that's for sure. But I'm wondering, I remember a couple of years ago, maybe 10 or so, they did have some water bottle policies that they changed because of the extreme heat. So throughout the day, I will look into that and see if they're making any, any exceptions perhaps for those water bottles. So I'm not sure yet, but I will definitely check that on that for you. Other than that, there's some really cool merch that they have down there too. Yesterday we had some really fun hats, sweatshirts, water bottles that played music. This year they had like a trucker hat. That was pretty cute. It was like, I forgot the name of the company, but it's down there and it has like, one had a wood smile trucker hat. Others had like patches almost as if they were like really bright orange brims, bright pink brims. Those are also good for the kiddos too in case you get them out there and want to kind of track what they're doing. But you can track what we are doing. How about that tomorrow? So tomorrow from 2 to 4, you can meet some of us. We'll have a lot of our FOX6 personalities out there. So that's going to be a huge meet and greet. It's going to be really fun. U.S. Cellular Connection Stage. That's going to happen for those 2 hours. But if you miss tomorrow, don't worry about it. We'll have another day as well next Friday. I'll double check that time. But I know I'll be out there tomorrow. Donovan will be out there tomorrow. Lisa said that she's going to be out there tomorrow. And it's just a fun time meeting everybody. I love hearing viewer stories, just loving maybe some of your memories of Summerfest. So I feel like it's appropriate for the name, the Connection Stage. It's giving us a way to connect with you guys as well. So feel free to come meet some of your FOX6 personalities and ask us any questions if you want. Grab a selfie with us, and it's always a fun time, or even get a little shade. Hopefully we have a tent. Maybe they'll let you pop under there with us for a little bit. But it's going to be a fun weekend, and I'm just excited about it. So today, tomorrow, don't forget the next 2 weekends as well. And I believe there's going to be like a drone show. It's going to be a lot of fun. But once again, if you are coming out tomorrow, beware it's going to be really extreme heat. So bring lots of water, at least in your car, to drink beforehand. We'll double check to see what you can bring inside. But also sunscreen. Don't forget that, because sometimes you got to lather back up throughout the day depending on how long you're going to be there. And you don't want to have that burn. That's just going to ruin your whole weekend. So just, get ready for Summerfest. Things are cool with that. Let's take a look to see what's going on elsewhere, being that we are talking about Summerfest and things that are going on this weekend. Let's see what's going on today. Do we have Bill coming up? I know he's been working on a story. And let's take a quick break. I want to get Bill up because he is, I believe, at court today, and we had this horrific incident with a dog death out in Dodge County, so he can help break that down for us, as I believe the suspect is going to go through court. So we're going to take a quick break for that and hopefully come back with some more information about some news closer.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
And welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. I'm Derica Williams. Thank you for tuning in or checking back in with us. I was mentioning before that we were going to talk about the Dodge County situation. There was a dog death where the town board chairman was arrested. We do have a crew right now that's following up on this. I believe it's Bill Miston. In the meantime, I just want to give you a little update as we're learning a little bit more about it. So basically, the Dodge County Sheriff's Office said that Richard Van Buren was arrested yesterday, June 19th, after a golden retriever died. So apparently what happened, if you don't know, Van Buren is actually the chairman of the Chester Town Board in a rural area of Waupun. So he was actually booked into the county jail and just awaiting his initial appearance, which should be happening momentarily. So we're going to learn some more information about that. But just a little backstory here. He was actually charged in connection to that recent dog death in Dodge County. What we know so far is that he was arrested on a charge of mistreating animals. Now, this is after a previous incident that occurred in that town of Chester. Now, the cause of the golden retriever's death is unknown right now. I do want to say that, but we're learning some more information. So apparently, the sheriff's office said the incident was reported on Oakwood Road, and that was the incident that's allegedly resulted in the dog's death. And it quickly blew up on social media with people commenting and suspecting what happened. So the Dodge County Sheriff did acknowledge the public outcry surrounding what happened and noticed that they do take the mistreatment of animals very seriously. They released a press release, so I'm just going to read some of this to you. So in this press release, the Sheriff's Office addressed the online behavior and the speculation and said, social media posts have been seen that are grossly inaccurate and inflammatory. One such post alleged that a Dodge County Board supervisor was on the scene of the incident. We can confirm that no Dodge County officials were present or were involved, and the only officials were involved were from the town of Chester, and no other persons have been identified as being party to the crime of mistreating animals in this case. So here's where this kind of also started too. This is from a local perspective. Shelby Crone said that she went for a walk on Tuesday at March Haven Nature Center. And then she said this was happening before the unthinkable happened. So she went for a walk and claims that she came across a golden retriever who looked lost. And she says she's a dog lover, just wanted to help this dog because the dog was looking lost in this nature area. She said she spent 45 minutes coaxing the dog before she was finally able to get him into the car. She was trying to help bring him to safety. So she said because she found the dog in the town of Chester, Crone said the Dodge County Humane Society told her to take the dog to the chairman, Van Buren. So that's when she said everything took a turn. She said that this is her claim now, that Van Buren strangled the dog to death. So that is what this woman is saying. She said that this was not a mistreatment of an animal, and she believes that this was the murder of an animal. She says she saw and witnessed this. Crone says now, she's having some issues. When she closes her eyes, all she can see is those dog's eyes looking at her while supposedly this man was strangling him to death. And she said she just couldn't do anything about it. So those were the words from that woman who was walking, who found the dog and obviously delivered it to him. So what they're saying, in response to the large response on various social media posts, the Sheriff's Office did provide this following. They said, quote, the Sheriff's Office certainly took the note that there was that specific outcry on the case. However, the Sheriff would like the community to know that the Sheriff's Office does not make enforcement decisions based on outcry or even pressure from the community, as that would be inappropriate and unethical. Rather, we take the time to gather the necessary evidence that the district attorney needs for a successful prosecution. While a community may at times request immediate action by a law enforcement agency, that may not always be what is best for the final resolution of the case. So if the Sheriff's Office were to make snap decisions in cases like this, and a defendant in the case were not held accountable as a result, there would be equally a significant public outcry. Well, this is why we always strive to conduct as much of the investigation when possible before making an arrest. So additionally, there have been threatening comments made by some community members that must be addressed. Once again, if you're tuning in right now, I'm reading what the sheriff's office is responding about this public outcry. They're continuing on saying, threats to the personal safety and property of individuals are not only inappropriate, but may also be illegal. While we respect the freedom of speech does have limits when it comes to threatening another person's life, family members, or property. The sheriff's office will take threats seriously and to make arrests as appropriate if they are deemed to be in violation of the law. And this also includes threats made on social media, end quote. So just keep that in mind as well. The Dodge County Humane Society Executive Director also did chime in on this incident and provided a statement as well. I could read a little bit of that so you guys get an understanding of that perspective. They say, we are heartbroken and deeply disturbed by the recent incident involving the death of a dog in the town of Chester. The Dodge County Humane Society exists to protect and advocate for the welfare of all animals, and this tragic act stands in direct opposition of the values of compassion, responsibility, and care that we strive to uphold in our community. They also go on to say in the statement that they released, the incident highlights the urgent need for better education, accountability, and human training for anyone entrusted with the care of animals, especially public officials. No animal deserves to suffer or die because of negligence or cruelty. It also continues to go on to say that they want to sincerely thank the Dodge County Sheriff's Office for their prompt and professional response to this matter. We trust their investigation will be thorough and just, and we support them fully as they work to bring clarity and accountability for this heartbreaking situation. They also go on to say, our thoughts are with those affected by this loss, and we remain committed to protecting every animal in Dodge County with dignity and compassion that they deserve. So once again, if you're just tuning in, I was just sharing what was happening with this Dodge County dog death situation. As we are following the arrest, Van Buren was booked into the Dodge County Jail, and right now we are awaiting his initial appearance in Dodge County Circuit Court. Now, while that can happen momentarily, we're going to take a quick break and come on back, and hopefully we'll be able to pull that up shortly. So stay with the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
and welcome back. It is 12:55 right now. Welcome back to Wisconsin Live Desk. I'm Derica Williams. If you're just checking in with us right now, we're learning about the Live Desk. We're just sharing a lot of different things that are happening kind of right now in the moment on whether it be, social media that's going on, whether it be, a different station that's happening across the country, the state, or even some of the reporters in our area, what they're working on right now, just the most up-to-date news of what is happening live in our area. So as we're waiting to hear back from some of our reporters right now, they're working on a couple of projects. I wanted to share what folks are really talking about too. It is the Milwaukee flag debate. Yes, it is. So what do you think? I feel like we need a way that you can chime in some way and talk to me about it, because I kind of have my thoughts. I like what we're seeing on the right, which is the people's flag. So that was the people's flag. And on the left, right there, the blue one with the lot going on, is the current Milwaukee City's flag. So apparently this flag debate has returned, but now with a twist and a deadline. So apparently what they're saying is the city is asking Milwaukee about its important issues, and they're getting a laundry list of answers in terms of this flag debate right here. So I want to take a look and see what the debate is saying. Okay. So last year's debate was over adopting the people's flag design, and that didn't go anywhere. That's the one that was on the right. So now a 9-person task force is gearing up with an open design contest. So Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson, we saw him and had a couple of words. He said basically, Milwaukee unfortunately has a crappy and crummy flag for some time, and says some folks have said it was the worst municipal flag in the United States, if not the worst. And that's the one that we're seeing right there. So he said there is room for improvement, and he is actually supporting the push for a new design. He says it was his idea to move forward with this because next year, January 31st, the city of Milwaukee turns 180 years old. You can see right there, it says 1846, which is obviously a nod to the inception. He said it's a big milestone for the city, and he wants to make sure that we have something. He says this could be a good idea, but, the flag does need a change. Some are saying, the flag is a little old, it's a little antiquated. So a lot of folks are saying, why not this flag? Why not the people's flag? So I want to take a quick look right now. Hold on for me. Milwaukee City's people's flag. Because I feel like this was maybe 2016 or so that we got the people's flag. So just stand with me for a second. But I love it. I think that we've seen this on a lot of stuff now. I feel like it's been on merch. It's been on some of the sporting things that we've seen. This flag debate, it gives us a little look at the lake. It gives us sun. Let me learn a little bit more about this flag, because I wanted to see who made the flag, because that was pretty cool too, learning a little bit about that. But in the meantime, so the goal in essence would be for the Common Council to vote by the end of the year on this people's flag. So the flag, which we're looking at right now, is known as Sunrise Over the Lake. So this has actually been around since 2016. And the current city flag that we showed you before was adopted in the 1950s. Some think it's, outdated, offensive, maybe not representative of Milwaukee today. So we're going to see what happens with this. So lastly, this is just something that everyone's kind of paying attention to. Some are like, why are we debating over a flag? It's not a big issue, but they do want to change that. So we're going to talk more about that task force in just a bit. I do want to reach out to Brett Lemoyne right now. I'm going to see where he's at. He is at a ribbon cutting at UWM. That's happening right now. They're joining Waukesha County College, Technical College, and expanding access to higher education. So I want to see if they're about to come in. I know they're gearing up right now. We could just take a quick look in the meantime on this. So right now, this is what's happening. It's a ribbon cutting and a grand opening right now. So this ceremony that we're looking at, we're about to have them come up in a moment and speak. This is being held at the new UWM University Center, and it's actually located on WCTC's main Pewaukee campus. So this event today is going to mark the grand opening. It should start shortly at 1 o'clock, so we're just waiting for them to come to the podium. It's going to mark the grand opening of the center and will include a brief program and just kind of remarks from the legislators. But the opening really signifies just a new level of collaboration between Wisconsin's premier higher education institutes. So, they have WCTC and UWM have obviously worked together for many, many years. But this collaboration is going to, just offer a broadening effort to offer accessible, affordable UWM bachelor's degree completion option rights right there in the heart of Waukesha County. So that's really good. It's going to make it easier for students to advance their education and just pursue their career goals. So that's going to be great. So this university center now is going to enhance the ability for kids in Waukesha County, or students rather, to earn their degree from UWM. So that's where that crossover comes into play. But this physical space, though, it's also going to serve as a resource to students for information about UWM and will just help facilitate that smoother transition from WCTC to UWM. And also, I do want to note, as part of the transfer credit agreement between UWM and WCTC, associate degree holders are guaranteed streamlined admission to UWM. That's huge. It's also going to include the transfer at least 60 credits, in addition to advising current and prospective WCTC students. That University Center will also assist WCTC alumni and even former students who didn't complete their associate's degree. So depending on their major, the students can complete their bachelor's degree at the UWM University Center at WCTC and also the main UWM campus. You could do it online or even through hybrid options. So this fall, the offerings will focus on different things like social work, information science and technology, and business. Eventually, the goal right there is to add several more programs in the future. So basically, if you're just tuning in right now to Wisconsin Live Desk, we're sharing this collaboration. WCTC and UWM are working in tandem together to enhance students' access to furthering their education. This is pretty good. So while they get themselves together, we're going to take a quick break to fit that in because I'd love to hear from them when they come up to the podium. So stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
And welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. I am Derica Williams at the controls today. We've talked about a couple of different things today. We talked about the Dodge County dog death, and we are waiting for the suspect to go through and learn a little bit more about that incident. Summerfest, the hot weather that we're having the next couple of days, it's going to be a real scorcher. Looking in the 90s with the heat indices even higher, so some dangerous temperatures if you're not prepared for it. Also some of the controversy with the Milwaukee City flag, rather. And just most recently, we popped into a press conference that was about to happen, and this is the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. They're going to be joining with Waukesha County Technical College in expanding access to higher education with the baccalaureate level of the opening of the UWM University Center at WCTC. This is pretty huge. It's going to be a center that's going to help students focus from their education and get from the associate to the bachelor's degree. So I want to just pop in really quickly, and you could kind of see what's going on right there as they're getting set up to talk about it. But there are some really cool facts that I noticed. So UW Milwaukee, they're saying that they obviously have an ambition with their top tier research university, and they're striving to ensure that students have equitable opportunities to earn a college degree. So this is going to be really huge. UWM educates a really diverse group. Student body is more than 22,000 students from 88 countries. But I want to listen in just to kind of hear what's going on right now over there. Let's take a listen. If you're just tuning in right now, we're waiting to hear some remarks. Basically, depending on their major, students with this can complete their bachelor's degree at the UWM University Center at WCTC, the main UWM campus, or even online through hybrid options. So this center, and coming in the fall, will offer, focus on social work, information science, and technology and business. The goal, obviously, eventually to add several more programs in the future. Let's take a listen in once again. And we're getting a couple of glimpses there, lots of school leaders, department heads, things like that. They're at this physical office space, which is going to serve as a resource to students for information about UWM and will allow them for just a smoother transition from WCTC to UWM. So as part of the transfer credit agreement between UWM and WCTC, the associate degree holders are guaranteed streamlined admission to UWM, including the transfer of at least 60 credits. That is amazing right there. In addition to advising current and prospective WCTC students, that university center right there can also assist WCTC alumni and former students who did not complete their associate's degree. So I think we're kind of inching a little bit closer to that podium. Obviously wanting to learn a little bit more about the enhanced ability of this expansion and access, which many students are looking forward to being able to get. They've actually had a relationship for about 20 years, UWM and WCTC. So this just kind of goes along line with it. And this new center is just going to, what they're saying, exemplify their commitment to student success. And it's actually going to provide access to affordable higher education in Waukesha County, and just make it easier for students to advance their education and pursue their career goals. Let's listen and maybe we could hear what they're saying. I love kind of getting this behind the scenes look though, right? As we're waiting for them to kind of come on over. It seems as though they're about to gather things. We're hearing from them the next couple of minutes.
Pull the podium off the side, so we'll just move it across. Yeah, we're going to open speaker stand, and 5 people in the center.
As we're waiting for them, this room is actually, well, today it's going to mark the grand opening of the center with this brief program. But in this room that we're seeing, we're going to hear remarks from UWM and WCTC leaders. There are legislators here, as well as on the other side of the camera you could see they're going to take a tour of the facility. So this is a real behind the scenes look at what this is going to be about. This new UWM University Center, if you're just listening in, will be located on WCTC's main Pewaukee campus. All right, as they're getting ready, I appreciate programs like this because those with associate degrees and the graduates there are going to be able to learn how to best leverage their existing credentials. And even folks who have some college credit can work with an advisor or find the most efficient path to a bachelor's degree right in their community. I know many folks, as you go through school, it could be overwhelming to find a path that you want to go to, figure out how to get there, what classes you need to take, what options, best fit you, and kind of tailor that to it. Looks like they're about to start. They're pointing and walking. Don't want to miss it. We're going to raise the volume and let's take a listen right now.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. It's
Don't worry about the camera.
Don't worry about the camera. And I think we've dropped the cover charge to $6, so you can come on in. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Rich Barnhouse, and I'm the president of WCTC. We're thrilled to have everybody here today on a warm summer day in June after semesters have ended. And for those of you that know higher education, the day after graduation and a couple of weeks thereafter is pretty quiet until we get into summer session, which starts next week. So thank you all for being here today. I want to thank everybody from UWM who's joining us, as well as all of our legislative officials and friends and everybody from WCTC as well. Before I get going, I want to just start by saying welcome to the future. This is the future of higher education, where two institutions take the best of both worlds and amplify them together. And the point being that we can do much better things for students, much better things for the local and state economy together than we can apart. And so we're thrilled to work with our closest partner, UWM, to bring forth the University Center here at WCTC. And I want to thank Chancellor Money, who's been a tremendous friend, mentor, and colleague on a number of issues over the past probably 5 years. There's not much that we haven't worked on together as it relates to higher education in the region and in the state. So, Chancellor Mone, thank you so much for your leadership, all of your hard work, and the amazing 11 years that you've had as Chancellor at UWM. I also want to thank County Executive Paul Farrow. Thank you so much. The county executive has been an unbelievable. You know, here's the thing. I'm never.
Who needs education?
No, I am never gonna live that down.
That's a good one.
I see the county executive regularly at meetings, and I'm sure that this will come up. He's probably gonna get a T-shirt that says "Unbeliever." So, an unbelievable supporter of education, K through 12, as well as what we're doing here at WCTC, and a wonderful supporter of UWM as well. And about 3 years ago, I think, the three of us got together on this campus and started talking a little bit about what does higher education look like in the future, what are the needs today, but what are the needs as we get into the 2030s and 2040s, and just recognizing that we can't wait until the 2030s or 40s to start building. And so that's where some of the initial conversations really began. We're extremely excited about this partnership with UWM, having a university center here so that students can come to this campus and get everything from a short-term credential to tech diploma to associate's degree all the way through to bachelor's degrees. And Chancellor Mone and I were talking over lunch today about that expanding into additional graduate degrees, not tomorrow morning, but hopefully in the very, very near future, so that any resident of the region can come to one spot and be served by two unbelievable institutions. So this is the future of higher education. We think that this could be, perhaps should be, a model for the rest of the state and also for many other parts of the country. So thank you all very, very much for being here. We really, really appreciate it. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Chancellor Mone for a few words.
Thank you, Rich, and thank you all for joining us. President Barnhouse is an incredible leader I'll speak to in a moment. I need 5 minutes at least for that portion alone. But this is a significant moment for higher education, not only in the region, but truly across the state. To bring UW-Milwaukee and Waukesha County Technical College together is a powerhouse possibility that is being realized here. And I'll talk in a little more detail about why and what we're ultimately going to be doing. But it builds on a 2-decade plus relationship that we have. There's been many visits, there's been many discussions over the years about the transfer students from Waukesha County Technical College to UW-Milwaukee. We've got a wonderful pipeline. In turn, I think Waukesha County Technical College has not only educated a number of individuals from Milwaukee, but there's a great opportunity in terms of the growth in this region and for us to move beyond. Some of the principles that I'm going to talk about is how we meet needs and how we offer an affordable approach to education that you don't have to leave on a 4-year degree basis. That's what's absolutely critical about this possibility and what we're building here today. I do want to thank President Barnhouse for his vision. It's incredibly important for us to be able to bring our talented colleagues together and to create the one team that we have. We don't have a UWM team and a WCTC team. We've got one team, and they're represented here today, and I'm so grateful for all the work that so many of you have led. In particular, I want to give an acknowledgement to Provost Andrew Dare and to Chief Academic Officer Brad Piazza and their teams coming together to form that one team to create this solution to a lot of the needs. What are the needs that I'm going to talk about? Well, let's start with Jeff Davis over at Waukesha Metal. Jeff and I were on our way to Washington, D.C. for Milwaukee Night, and he was telling me about a 2-year student from the city of Milwaukee that they sponsored as an intern, and they were supporting him to go to WCTC to get his 2-year pre-engineering degree. But every time that student wanted to look at a 4-year degree, they were looking at another 3 or 3.5 years. And he said, this is a problem, I don't get it. Why can't you work on that particular issue? And then we talk with parents and with students who want to become police officers, nurses, others, and they are looking at the same exact type of situation. They have to leave and or they have to have more than 2 more years of education. There's something fundamentally wrong. So go back to January of 2023 and we had a signing. And we developed something that was revolutionary. Rich, thank you for being the first person to say, absolutely, let's make this happen. And again, to Brad and Andrew, the vision to be able to execute that, to create a transfer agreement. It's a blanket. So compared to many of my colleagues across four-year institutions who will take years to create an articulation agreement that takes a lot of time, is very engaged, we now have a blanket agreement. So just this week, we had the Fox Valley Technical College sign that agreement. We're getting technical colleges across the state wanting to participate because this is that important. It's really, really vital. Now, I need to take just a time out and talk just for a moment about why President Barnhouse is the right president at the right time. He's decisive, he's bold, he's really able to take the action and move things forward. Rich, it's just been a joy working with you. It's been so helpful to have you at the side as we've gone through, and I love your collaborative spirit and love the way you make things happen. So very, very grateful for you doing this here on your campus and really committing not just to today, but really that vision for the future, making a difference for our residents, making a difference for the state when we think about the economy and think about the importance of talent, but also in the world today, the role of technology, the role of manufacturing, the role of healthcare, role of criminal justice, a number of different things, and providing that talent pipeline that's so critical. So with that, we today have an incredible opening. This program today, in terms of the programs that we will have this fall, include the work that we're doing, and I'm very appreciative. We have today Dean Tina Freiberger, who represents beyond social work, a number of other things on our campus, but that's one of the leading areas. So thank you, Tina, for that. We're going to be working on our business degree. We have Dean Kaushal-Chari, who's here today to be able to provide in-person perspectives if you're curious from either one of them, as well as our information science and technology, which also comes back to Dean Freiberger. So we've got them as the leaders in terms of recognizing here's some great opportunities. But right behind that, we've got 6 or 7 other areas. And those areas include, in terms of future planning, engineering, we've got Dean Brett Peters from the College of Engineering and Applied Science, data analytics, psychology, health sciences, education, and entrepreneurship. So there's a number of other areas stacked in behind this in terms of, so what are we going to do? This is the place where it's going to be happening in conjunction with our WCTC colleagues. What's the big point? We're bringing together a top-tier research, engaged, and access university focused on social mobility, focused on solving issues that are needed with one of the powerhouse technical colleges in the state, the leading one in this area, for really aligning with industry needs, looking at what the future is going to be, and so anticipating that, creating a program, a series of programs that really meet those needs. We couldn't be more excited about this. Now, it's my pleasure to shift gears and introduce a stalwart believer, supporter of higher education. And Paul Farrow has been relentless. When he was the co-chair of M7, we talked frequently about the importance when we talk about attracting and retaining manufacturing, healthcare, financial services, name the industry. And Paul was there at the table making sure that education front and center was an important part of this because he knows the criticality of that. I always like to give Paul, I know you're on the stage here, but I have to give your mom a lot of credit. Her passion and support for education. This is Lieutenant Governor Emerita Margaret Farrow, late Margaret Farrow. She has done so much for private, public, 2-year, 4-year education in the state of Wisconsin. And I'm just so proud to have known her, but also seeing how you have really lived up to and just, I think, exceeded a lot of expectations about the commitment and support for education. You've also been our landlord for many years, and a terrific one. It's been a great pleasure working with you, and thank you so much for your support for this partnership and all that you do for this region. Let's hear it for Paul Farrow.
Honestly, I'm a believer. No, but I will say, and thank you both, and Mark, thank you for the kind words about my mom. When it comes to education, she had 5 boys, and I was tied for 3rd. I'll let you figure that one out. My brother was a straight A student. Let's just say I graduated, okay? And we'll leave it at that. But for me, it was great because I was a skeptic of education. I was always going to why. I have told the story, Mark and Rich both know this. When my wife decided that she would consider marrying someone, she said they'd have to have a college degree. At the time, I didn't have a college degree, but I had a ring. And so I had to get going very quickly, so I came to WCTC to get my 2-year degree because she didn't say it was a 4 or 2-year degree. So there's different motivating factors of why you go to get your education. And I did go back to school and finish up my 4-year degree, but my wife told me that I really wanted my 4-year degree from Carroll University. So you can see where the motivation is for education for me. But what it really is understanding that there are people at different parts of their path, and they need to be able to get connected right then and there in order to engage. I have a son who just graduated with a criminal justice degree. He is coming back, he is coming back on July 30th to start the police academy. This is what he wanted to do. It's because we have incredible opportunities in education. And when I look at Waukesha County, one of the greatest things that we talk about is the quality of life. And we talk about the importance of having that great balance that's there. We have over 70,000 kids that go through our K-12 education program here. Thousands are graduating every year. And there's a bunch of them like me that go, I don't really know what I want to do. Now look at the model that we've created right here. At the WCTC campus, we have UWM. It's not a portion of UWM. It's not a hybrid of UWM. It is a 4-year degree campus that happens to sit in a building right next door to the 2-year campus buildings. Why couldn't that be done everywhere else? Now, I am a little selfish, okay? As the chancellor put it, I am the landlord for the UW Waukesha site, which I was a student at, I'm not gonna say when. But it's one of those situations where they came to us about a year ago and said, we're gonna have to shut down the campus. Now, for me, I look at it right away and I say, okay, what are we going to do? And it wasn't just about what are we going to do with the campus, it's what are we going to do for the students? And then these two come to me and say, hey, we got an idea. Here's how we're going to solve the problem for the students. So for Waukesha County, it's a win-win. We are going to get about 87 acres of land back into the tax rolls for the people of Waukesha County, hopefully in some housing development that we're working on. Proposals are going to be coming out later this summer. But it also gives the students the opportunity to continue their education at whatever path they're at. Is it a 2-year program? Is it a credentialed program? Is it a 4-year program? All bundled in one area that's ideally located in this county so that everybody can get here. You know, and Chancellor Maloney was kind of extolling about how wonderful Rich has been here. When I met you, it was in 2020 during COVID. We had a meeting in the summer talking about this really cool program that he wanted to expand on called dual enrollment. And one of the things I said to him, I said, you know what? Don't ask the state for permission, ask the state for forgiveness, and let's just get the ball rolling. We've got one of the most effective dual enrollment programs here at WCTC. We have students that are graduating with a 2-year degree before they graduate with their high school diploma. They're graduating with certifications. They're on their steps forward. Now they can go to the UWM and get their 4-year degree.
All right, I know we've been waiting for this press conference. I don't want to interrupt it, but I just want to pass it over to my colleague, Ben Handelman. This is the UWM and WCTC partnership, so he'll return right in a short moment after this.
The tools they need to be successful, and that's what you're seeing here today. Great to kind of be along for the ride and help you guys out where I can. For me, again, as I said, for the county, this is probably the best win that we could see coming out of this whole package. We get new development in Waukesha County. We keep an incredible 4-year school, and we continue to build up on our 2-year school as well. So this is a great opportunity. I'm glad to be part of it. And with that, I'll turn it back to Rich.
We were just talking about the unbeliever comment, and no, I know you won't let me forget it. So, but thank you to you both. Really, really, really appreciate it. And I think, and I hope, and I think, and I imagine everybody here today can see what partnerships can do and how important it is for institutions of higher education to work together, but also local government. Local and state government being a part of this is critically important to have that support and understanding about what we're doing so that that message can be taken forward throughout the rest of the state as a model for all citizens that live in Wisconsin. So I do believe that there's some scissors that we're going to be. Yep, I will. But there's a course that you have to take to operate these scissors. They actually come in their own package. It's phenomenal. So I'll do my best. I can't remember what we learned in that scissor cutting class, but we'll do our best with the scissors in a few minutes. But I want to thank everybody for being here. Before we get to these amazing scissors, we'd like to provide the opportunity for folks to ask a couple of questions if anybody's interested, and we'll have the county executive answer all the questions for all three of us. But does it sound good?
This should be good. You mentioned just the number of transfer students at UWM that have come from WCTC. Can you just give a perspective? Is this one of the larger feeders of?
Thank you. Yes, no surprise, Milwaukee Area Technical College is our larger feeder. WCTC is our second largest feeder from all the technical colleges around. And we look forward to growing that in the future in great ways.
And then just on paper, the students, would they be considered WCTC student? I guess when does that change kind of take place?
So they would matriculate right into UWM at the end of their graduation from their two-year degree. And per the agreement that we have, they are accepted automatically, and this is something that's not only true for current WCTC students, but really grandfathers, anytime you've graduated from WCTC or other technical colleges that are part of this agreement.
And you mentioned Fox Valley Tech. Is there something similar like this that would be in place there as well?
Yes, they had an agreement this week, an agreement signing, and it also includes UW-Stevens Point as well. So others are seeing this and figuring out ways to be able to model on this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, anybody?
It's amazing.
All right, just
Cubs lost?
Did you hear that?
Cubs lost?
The county executive wanted me to express his real excitement that the Cubs lost yesterday. The provost from WCTC was there and happens to be a Cubs fan, so we're thrilled that the Cubs lost. So thank you for taking it so easy on us here. I think we'll cut now, and thank you everybody for being here. We'll get an opportunity for some pictures here, and then we'll get some cake in a few minutes.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right.
One hand Rich, one hand Mark.
Now if I'm left-handed executive.
We good? Whenever you're ready.
Ben Handelman here from the Wisconsin Live Desk on your Friday. Happy to be with you. Great hour from Derica. You're watching live. UW Milwaukee, they're expanding access to bachelor's degrees through WCTC. So this is what they're calling the UWM University Center that they're launching there at WCTC. It'll focus on helping students stay local in their education. You can go to WCTC. You can enter this program. And then continue that education right there at UWM. Obviously, there's been a lot of challenges for the smaller colleges. We've seen several of those satellite campuses close recently, and so universities are trying to figure out what to do to still keep higher education local, but also keep it afloat with the lower numbers and some of the challenges they're facing. So here's one of the solutions that the UW system's come up with the UWM University Center at Waukesha County Technical College. So you can go to the County Technical College, you get that program degree, and then you can move on and continue your studies at UWM. Okay, so this is a busy hour here. Another one to end up your week here live on your Fox Local app. If you're watching us on YouTube, appreciate that. There's Paul Farrow. There's Monet, the head of UWM, chatting here. So you're seeing Waukesha County officials chatting with UWM officials as they're launching this big partnership here. So I'm just going to show you some of the other things we're watching at this hour. Let me see if I can pull this up here because I don't think I have it pulled up right now. I do have a live shot, I believe, that is Trump Tower that we're watching here on router 3. Ooh, apologies there. That is the outside of the Diddy, the federal courthouse in New York City, the Diddy trial. That continues. It's getting nearer and nearer to wrapping up as we've been watching that shot. It's a federal court case, so you can't go inside with a camera. We've been seeing some of the pictures from the artists or drawers in there. So we're watching Diddy and that trial to see if anything comes of the Sean Diddy Combs trial today. Any minute now, we're expecting this to start. This is the State Department. They're holding a press briefing, long delayed, but obviously with everything that's happening in the Middle East, we're waiting to see what news. There's always news that comes out of a State Department briefing. And obviously with Israel and Iran launching bombs and missiles at each other, what will the State Department say is the very latest after the president says he's giving everybody a couple of weeks? He's hoping he'll make a decision in a couple of weeks. That's what he said, and says he's still open to talk. So waiting on the State Department briefing. When that happens, we'll try and dip in. We got a live picture from the White House. That's the big, new, beautiful flag. And if you see on both sides of the White House are those new flagpoles that just got installed this week. And so those are the new flags as we're looking live at the White House. Also, big weekend for Road America. There's big race, a big IndyCar race. Ashley Sears, she's going to join us here in just a couple of minutes. So we'll bring that to you live. And there's a few incidents out on the roads I got to talk about.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Haleman from the Wisconsin Live Desk. Hey, if you've never been on the Live Desk before, we take live feeds from all over Wisconsin and beyond, and we bring them to you as it's happening. And I do want to get you out to the White House. We just took a shot moments ago, but the president has just walked out, and he's walked on to Marine One. And I'm going to try and figure out where the president is going right now, where he is off to. Might be spending the weekend in Florida, possibly. He often does that, or obviously with what's going on in the Middle East. I'll get our producer Delaney to try and get some details on where the president is headed this weekend. But you're looking live on, I believe, the south lawn of the White House where they take off from, and you can see there's one of those Marines getting on the White House. That's a member of the Secret Service in the foreground. And you're going to see these blades start to move as we watch Marine One take off from Washington, D.C., live here on the live desk. Let's just listen in and see some of the audio of what it's like when Marine One takes off. Okay, I just got some new details on the president's schedule. So he is taking off to go to Trump National Golf Course in Bedminster, New Jersey, one of his properties, where he's holding a dinner tonight. Sounds like a fundraiser. It's called the MAGA Inc. Dinner. So he's expected to arrive in New Jersey in really no time, as he will take off and fly off to New Jersey. So this is a closed press event, so this could be the last time we see the president for the day, as you're seeing him depart right now from the White House en route to Bedminster, New Jersey, as Marine One is taking off. Let's just listen in again to the sights and sounds as President Trump departs Washington, D.C. So the president is taking off. Little known facts about Marine One. Any Marine aircraft that the president gets into is called Marine One. However, the president almost exclusively when he's in a Marine aircraft is using this helicopter, a Marine helicopter. It's known as a Squadron 1, a Sikorsky helicopter, that one of the most technologically advanced helicopters in the entire world. Oftentimes, Marine One is used to ferry the president over to Andrews Air Force Base nearby, where he can then jump on Air Force One. And again, Air Force One is any Air Force aircraft that the president gets into, but there are specific airplanes that the president uses, and there's been all sorts of news with that new airplane that was donated to the United States. So there you see Marine One taking off from Washington, D.C. on your weekend. I'm looking at the president's schedule. It does not have any open scheduled plans for the rest of this weekend. And I think we're now seeing some people take some boxes out. Anytime there's movement near the lawn, like the cameras are all working to see, I mean, you never know when news will be made. And who knows what's in this box. But it's a crummy looking cardboard box that the world is watching right now, as people are moving stuff out of the White House right now, and cameras are kind of catching this. As there, again, according to the public schedule, there is a MAGA dinner tonight, MAGA Inc. dinner at Trump National Golf Course in Bedminster. So that, oh, okay, this was moments ago. So this is what we call a tape playback, and you can see the president walk out. And we'll just watch this again, as you could hear some reporters, they shouted some questions at him. But they're replaying the departure here in what is once again called a tape rollback. We do have the State Department press conference has started. So as you're watching, this was the president just walking out talking to crew members as they are doing work around the Rose Garden at the White House. So I think he was asking some questions of some of the crews out there. You just never know when you work on the White House when the president might walk out and ask you some questions. But let's see what news is being made from the State Department here. This is the briefing that has just started. Let's listen.
Address the needs of U.S. citizens during this important time. I want to reiterate a few important instructions for everyone watching at home and around the world. We urge all American travelers to sign up for the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, known as STEP, to receive the latest updates from the State Department. We also urge U.S. citizens to regularly monitor the department's website at travel.state.gov to receive the latest updates and to find emergency contact information. Americans overseas in need of assistance should contact their nearest U.S. embassy or consulate or call, if you're overseas, +1 202 501 4444. That is +1 202 501 4444. Another important update, the State Department has added a crisis intake form, which can be found by clicking the banner on the top of travel.state.gov, which, once again, the magic of technology, there it is. The new aspect is that red banner at the top. Click on Israel and Iran departure info for U.S. citizens and follow the instructions for more information. U.S. citizens in Israel and the West Bank who would like to receive information on departure assistance should fill out the form that this website will take you to. This crisis intake form will also allow U.S. citizens in Iran to register their information. We do not anticipate offering direct U.S. government-assisted departure from Iran. Americans seeking departure should take advantage of existing means to leave. The Department of State has provided information and support to over 25,000 people seeking guidance regarding the situation in Israel, the West Bank, and Iran. And on Iran, I want to reiterate the statement from President Trump, delivered by my colleague Caroline yesterday. Quote, based on the fact that there is a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place in the near future, I will make my decision of whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. And now, with so much happening, there has been some news this week you may not have seen. After 3 days of talks, technical teams from the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda initialed the text of a peace agreement on Wednesday. Next Friday, June 27th, Secretary of State Marco Rubio will witness the ministerial signing of that peace agreement right here at the Department of State, led by the foreign ministers of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. This is a milestone achievement and a significant step toward peace in that region, and we remind our friends and partners that with implementation of the agreement, the economic investment and development we all want to see will finally be possible. We look forward to more on this next Friday. Also, I would like to join the many Americans in New Jersey welcoming home Idan Alexander. Held hostage by Hamas, his release is a reminder of our commitment to Americans wherever they may be in the world. The scenes of people lining the streets were truly heartwarming, and America is stronger with one of our sons finally home. And lastly, we are having this briefing on Friday because we were not here yesterday because it was the holiday Juneteenth. On June 19th, for everyone wondering and not perhaps having all the details, on June 19th, 1865, Union Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas to announce General Order Number 3, declaring that all enslaved people in Texas were free. More than 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation had officially ended slavery in Confederate States, I should say. This day, now known as Juneteenth, has become a profound commemoration of freedom and resilience. So I hope you enjoyed yesterday.
Ben Haleman from the Wisconsin Live Desk. That's Tammy Brewers from the State Department making some news that Rwanda and Congo have agreed to sign a peace treaty, and it appears this has been brokered by the United States because they are going to sign that peace agreement next week right there in the building that you're watching in Washington, D.C. So the State Department briefing happened right after the president left for Bedminster, New Jersey. So we'll continue to follow this. But we want to keep things a little more local right now because I want to get up to Road America up there in Sheboygan County. We got a big IndyCar race, and who better to send than a girl who is from originally Indiana, Ashley Sears, joining us live on the Wisconsin Live Desk, checking out, ooh, sounds like there's some fast cars out on the track right now, Ash. What's going on out there?
Yeah, Ben, I'm from Indiana, but I have novice knowledge on racing. Well, we are at Road America, where one of the biggest race weekends is getting underway. Right now, there's a support race happening here at Road America ahead of the big race that is taking place on Sunday. The IndyCar XPEL Grand Prix will be happening on this track, and we've got a front row seat here. We are on the front straightaway. Yes, I had to look at my notes because I wrote that down. I was like, what is this called? And you can see the pits there behind us. And luckily I'm here with photojournalist Jeff Frings, who is an expert at racing, who has been filling me in all day on what I need to know, where I need to go, and what I need to see here. It is very, very loud out here, and I'm told it's only going to get louder as this weekend goes on. One of the coolest things about this track is the camping that takes place here. We met so many race fans this weekend. I don't know if you can hear me.
No, we really can't hear you because this is awesome. Two things that you've never really talked about in your life: camping and IndyCar racing. Man, is it going to be hot for those campers this weekend, Ash?
Yeah, the people out here. I'm going to scoot back a little bit because I don't know if you can hear me. I can't hear, so I'm going to go over here in this tent.
I'm not sure a tent will block the noise of these Indy cars, but
it's not as cool of a view, but believe it or not, it's a little quieter in here. But yeah, it's going to be really hot this weekend. I think upwards of 90. And we talked to some people who said they're really looking forward to the heat. They're prepared. They've got water, and they've got fans. They're cool as cucumbers out here. But one of the cool things about the campers is this is a tradition. They come back year after year. We met some folks who come back with a group of friends. They said this year, unfortunately, one of their friends passed away right before the race and couldn't be here, so this is kind of honoring his memory. We met another group that came up with about 20 people, and a woman we talked to said she started coming here with her husband because he was a huge race fan, and now she's become a big race fan of IndyCar racing. So it's kind of a neat thing to see out here at Road America.
I'm glad we sent you because you literally, I mean, you said it, you don't know a lot about racing. So what have you learned today? I mean, what's cool about IndyCar is they're loud. So if you like loud cars, that's awesome. But it's amazing how fast they go. I think the first time you see these cars, it doesn't sit in until you actually see it in person.
Yeah, we spoke to one of the Road America communications people who said, I think they go upwards of 190 miles an hour. And this track is really unique because of the size of it. It's 4 miles with 14 turns. And a photojournalist, Jeff Frings, said he's actually been on this track, and he said those turns are crazy. When he was going, what, you said 120? 125 miles an hour. Imagine going 190 miles an hour. It's really cool to see. And you get up close here as a fan. You could get right up close, and you could meet some of the drivers and kind of see it all taking place right in front of you.
And you can have your eardrums blown out, and you can get a sunburn.
I'm gonna have an eardrum blown out from the noise here, but also my IFB in my ear is turned up all the way, and I can only imagine what it's gonna feel like after I take it out after this live hit.
All right, well, have some fun up there at Road America. We don't want your hearing to go, So make sure Jeff buys you some earplugs. There's got to be like a little stand that's got some earplugs somewhere around there. And appreciate you.
I'm sure somewhere around here.
Have some fun up there at
All
Road
right.
America. Thanks, Ash. Appreciate it.
Sorry I couldn't hear.
In just a couple of minutes here, we're actually going to have one of the sponsors come on. There's a chance for you to actually meet a driver at Road America and maybe have some free iced coffee at the same time. That's coming up in about 7 minutes here on the live desk. So we're still watching all of the scenes coming in here as well. The State Department briefing is still happening. Ashley briefly talked about the heat that we've got out there. We've got heat indices expected to be in the hundreds this weekend. And we got Summerfest going on as well. Day 2 gets underway right now. So there's a lot to talk about here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Stay with us. We'll get back. We've got some more news from Road America and all the feeds that are coming in. Stay.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Handelman here from the Wisconsin Live Desk on your Friday. Man, is it a busy Friday and a busy weekend here in the Milwaukee area, and it's going to be a steamy one. Live picture from our Esterbrook Park Tower camera. Not sure if you can see down there, but Summerfest, Day 2, the world's largest music festival, taking place right now as the bands are on all of the stages. Just bring some water out there. There's another big event happening this weekend. If you were just joining us here on the Live Desk, and Ashley Sears was along the track at Road America, as there is a big IndyCar race that is happening up there. It's the Expel Grand Prix at Road America. Always fun when those Indy cars come in the town. But the thing is, you don't have to be very knowledgeable or know anything about Indy cars to have a blast along the track, because there's so many other events happening now. And that's why I'm excited to be joined by our next guest. It is Matt Thompson, joining us from Java House, one of the sponsors of one of the big Indy cars out there. And Matt, thanks for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad that you don't have to know a lot about racing to be able to get in there. Otherwise, they wouldn't let me into any of these activities.
Actually, it's funny because I was like, where are you right now? And you've got an interesting story about why you're standing right along Lake Michigan in Sheboygan.
Right, I am in lovely Sheboygan here at the Blue Harbor, because our fan zone activation, where we are giving out free Java House, our entire line of coffees, lattes, energy drinks, the whole shebang. It's been going so well, I had to go get more samples, and we're getting ready to get them out to the campsite. that I had to drive all the way back to Sheboygan and was getting ready to head back to the track.
I love it. For people who've never been to an IndyCar race or they haven't been up to Road America, I don't think people realize it's not just about the race. There is so much going on with the sponsors and things to check out, and you guys are an essential part of that. What are you guys doing up at Road America?
You're absolutely right. It's a big party up there. There's so much for fans to do. You get so much access to not just the drivers and the paddocks, but the whole experience. There's vendors from all over. What we're doing is it's really exciting. We've gone to all the IndyCar races this season, and we're allowing people to sample our PM4 pods, which are no machine required, no brewer. You just add our pods to hot or cold water, and you have instant either iced coffee, hot coffee, energy drinks, hydration beverages. We're debuting a brand new orange hydration drink this week, and we are blowing through it.
Is that like orange soda minus the carbonation?
Yeah, it is. So you can drink any of our stuff with sparkling water. Some people actually drink our coffee with sparkling water. We've got, and all the options. It's a really cool setup. In turn 5 of Road America, you can come and sample all that stuff. It's a pod that looks like about the size of a K-cup, but no machine. You just peel it open and pour it into water, and you've got one of the most delicious lattes you'll ever have. It's almost barista style.
I hope you've got ice lattes for this weekend, because it's going to no steamy up there.
That's why I'm glad I'm wearing all black all weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Tell us about Java House. You guys are an Indy-based company. No surprise here. I think it's a requirement. If you're an Indy-based company, you have to sponsor an Indy car, and you guys have teamed up with Ed Carpenter Racing. Tell me who I should be rooting for on the track this weekend.
I'm not allowed to play favorites because we do have 2 drivers, but Alexander Rossi, former Indy 500 winner, former Road America winner, is in the number 20 Java House car. And then our sister company, Splenda, actually has a car as well, and that's driven by Christian Rasmussen in the number 21 Splenda car. He actually finished for the first time in an Indy Series on the podium, 3rd place at the race in St. Louis last weekend. So a lot of momentum with our team, a lot of excitement. You can get this merch, which is, I love seeing it around the track at javahouse.com along with our products. So those should be the 2 you're rooting for the loudest.
Okay. Yeah, maybe if you like coffee more than Splenda in your drink, you can root for one car over the other. But Alexander Rossi, too, I mean, that's a guy who won the Indy 500 as a rookie, and he's part of your team now.
Yeah, it's great. This is his first year with ECR. Of course, this is also our first year with ECR, so it's a natural marriage. But it's been great getting to work with these guys. They're both such talented drivers. They, have qualifying has sometimes been tough for us, but their ability to move through the pack, like Christian Rasmussen, passed 62 cars last week. And given there's only 27 in the series, so he did a lot of passing.
That's crazy, actually, when you think about it, yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. And then Rossi he's qualified in the top 10 a few times and then finished in the top 5 once and in the top 10, I think, twice already. So our team has been very exciting to root for. Our cars, this is not just me saying this. I hear it from a lot of people that we've got the best looking cars on the track. You can really tell that our cars, they pop out. You can tell we're a cohesive team. And it's just been a blast to be a part of this. And yes, you're right. If you work in Indy, by some way, you do have to be connected to IndyCar.
Well, I'm glad you guys are, especially with Ed Carpenter Racing, who's based in Indianapolis. He's a Midwest guy, and we appreciate anyone, really, who's got the Midwest connections that we can root for here. I know there's a chance to meet a driver this weekend, right? Are you guys...
Yeah, that is right. So Alexander Rossi will be at our fan zone in turn 5 on Saturday from 11:55 to 12:15. This is one of your best opportunities to actually get up and close, get your photo with them. You can have things signed, actually get it, spend a couple seconds, talking to them. The drivers have been so great with the fans, and a lot of times you can get congested with super long lines, and this is one of your, like I said, the best opportunities to actually get up and get to meet one of your favorite drivers.
Well, I think that's what's so fun, too, about IndyCar. I mean, you go to an NFL game or an NBA game, and unless you're paying the real expensive seats, you're not meeting the guys who are out on the court or out on the field. IndyCar is so different because you never know who you're going to run into, and you're going to run into some of these famous drivers who've won the Indy 500 before.
Yeah, and it's wild because you can, a lot of times you can get access to the garages, you can walk around the paddock, you can get up close to the track. And then, as you said, you can just be walking around the midfield, and all of a sudden you see 2 drivers zipping around on scooters, getting from place to place. So it's unlike any other sporting event you're going to go to. The fan access is amazing. IndyCar does such a great job. They give you so much to do on these weekends. So whether you're coming out today to watch practice or tomorrow for qualifications or Sunday for the race, you and the family are going to find a ton to do, especially if you stop by the Java House booth.
I know you're traveling the country now. You're on tour with IndyCar, which we air right here on Fox 6, which is having a great season. I mean, the ratings are through the roof this year. There's been a lot of excitement. But what are your thoughts being at Road America? I'm not sure if it's your first time up here. Obviously, a world-famous course that's really unique to racing. And I know the racers, all week we've been hearing from them how excited they are to be here. But you, as a fan, what's it like to be around the course?
It is such a cool environment. It is like going to a pristine golf course almost, where it's like all inclusive within this thing. You drive under these really, scenic bridges, and then every part of the racetrack is different. 4.5 miles, I think, is how long Road America is. And so it just keeps going and going. And one of the cool things that's been a part of this, like you said, traveling across the country, is that every course has been so different, from out in the desert in Thermal to the streets of St. Pete and the streets of Long Beach to, a short oval in St. Louis to the iconic Indy 500. Every part about Indy, every track has its own unique personality, and Road America blew me away. I'd never been up here, so the surrounding area was cool, but then when you drive into the track, it really is breathtaking.
Well, thanks for giving us someone to root for. We got a Midwest driver and a Midwest team with Midwest company, Java House, serving up hopefully some iced coffees this weekend. So it should be a really fun weekend, Matt.
Absolutely. And again, if you want to stop by Turn 5, Java House booth will be there, hot and cold free beverages. You can get a sparkling if you wanted, like you said, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and we hope to see a lot of people out there.
Matt Thompson, Communications Director and of Content. You make all the content for Java House, so thanks for being here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
I have the right team that does it. I just take all the credit.
Well, there you go. Keep everyone hydrated this weekend. They'll need it, but have a lot of fun. It is a really, really unique event happening. So appreciate it, Matt. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Good stuff from Matt Thompson there, and it should be, again, what a fantastic event that Road America has landed once again. They've got the Expel Grand Prix going on, and we're going to air it right here on Fox 6 as well, because we got the whole slate of Indy cars, all the races this year, and they'll be back at the Milwaukee Mile later in the summer. So Wisconsin and IndyCar almost go together like Indianapolis and IndyCar. Perfect stuff. So stay with us here on the Live Desk. We're still seeing that press briefing coming in from the State Department. We may dip into that. There's a new event that's just popped up on my screen about border security. I'll show you that when we return.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
What up, news nerds? It's Friday. I'm Ben Handelman. This is the Wisconsin Live Desk, where it's the most unpredictable thing we do here at Fox 6 because I have no idea where the journey's going to take us now that we've got 20 minutes left here on the Live Desk. If there is a live feed, a live picture, something happening and breaking, we bring it to you live. And I want to bring you straight out. The press briefing from the State Department continues. That's Tammy Bruce on the screen. Let's listen in as she's making headlines as she talks.
Right, what? It was reported that the Chinese cargo plane was headed to Iran. Has there been any detection of Chinese actions or cooperation to support Iran?
Let's take that back, shall we? Get back to her with an answer on that. What is your next one, please?
One more question, please. Iran's nuclear weapons are threatening the entire world. If the United States intervenes in a war between Israel and Iran, do you think it will need support or cooperation from its allies?
Well, we've made very clear, I think there's, if anything is obvious to the world, it's that President Trump has demands regarding that situation. His concern is the fact that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. We know, of course, since October 7th, Israel remains in the posture of defending itself and the existential threat that is posed in that region by Iran. Our efforts clearly reflect the president's commitment to diplomacy first, to diplomacy being the thing that he believes will and can succeed, but he's also a pragmatic man. And this is why it's probably the most transparent leader globally right now, is making it clear publicly about his positions and when he would be willing to be making decisions about that. But we are always working with our allies and our partners. It's clear, and that will be also evident when the President and Secretary of State go to The Hague for the NATO meeting next week. All right, now go ahead in the back. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Tammy, on Bangladesh. Given UN Human Rights Commission Chief Volker Turk concern over the banning of political parties in Bangladesh, also Human Rights Watch has accused the UNIS-led interim government for arbitrarily targeting Awami League supporters. Does the U.S. consider this violation of democratic principle and condemn these actions?
Obviously, when it comes to let's say, a White House reaction to what is occurring in another country, I would suggest you contact the White House. But for when it comes to Secretary of State and the State Department, let's take that back, and we'll get an answer for you in that regard. But what I can tell you about Bangladesh is that Deputy Secretary Landau met with Bangladesh National Security Advisor Rahman Wednesday, and discussed the interim government's efforts ahead of the national elections. They discussed the U.S.-Bangladesh relationship, including expanding trade and commercial ties. The United States is committed to working with Bangladesh to promote peace and stability in the region.
And I have a second short question on same. What is the State Department response to the alleged fabricated charges against Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, the rise of mob killing and violence, and the imprisonment of individuals like 100 journalists without trial under this interim government? Will you condemn this and ask them to free them?
We will take that back, and I'll get you an answer as soon as we can get one for you. Yes, sir, in the middle here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tammy. The Turkish President Erdogan hosted the Armenian Prime Minister and his delegation in Istanbul today, and he mentioned that they talked regional issues, including the stability and peace in the Caucasian region and the problems or the issues between Turkey and Armenia. How do you follow these meetings?
Well, I've not spoken to the Secretary specifically about that particular instance, but I'm sure we will be able to get to you his opinion and the nature of how he's reacting. I would also suggest the White House as well for you for more information in that regard, but if we can take that back. And with that, that is going to be it for me today. It is, again, Friday. My thanks to you for coming up on a day that is not our normal briefing day, and I appreciate it. Have a lovely day. And we will see you next week. Tuesday and Thursday is security here or is security not here? Let's get this going because this has gotten a little old and inappropriate. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
That's Tammy Bruce from the State Department getting shouted out as she from someone who was in the media pool there as she leaves the room asking for security, and you can see everyone's walking out of the room. Some news made there will be a Rwanda and Congo peace treaty that will be signed next week. Tammy Bruce says that's going to happen right at the State Department, as it appears that was United States intervention to get that peace treaty going. You can hear everything from Bangladesh to Chinese involvement in Iran, some of the questions coming out from the media there as these are journalists from around the world. All right, stay with us on the Wisconsin Live Desk. I have a news shot that's coming from Detroit, Michigan. Kristi Noem expected to speak here. So much focus often is on the southern border and the numbers of immigrants who have crossed the border over there, but today's event focused on the northern border between the U.S. and Canada. So we're expecting to hear the Homeland Security Secretary speak in just moments here. Kristi Noem, any minute. When that happens, we'll take it live on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We got to talk about our heat that's happening. We got warnings for the weekend. Stay safe out there. We'll talk about that next.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Haleman from the Wisconsin Live Desk. It's Friday here from the FOX6 Newsroom. We're in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or Brown Deer, Wisconsin, where our studios are. And this is the Live Desk, where we don't know where we're going to go in the last 10 minutes here on the Live Desk, because as these feeds come in, we're going to bring it to you live. I do want to get you out on the roads right now. There are a couple of crashes I want to tell you about. Now, this camera, this is the DOT camera, 511. And it's going to bounce around, but I'm going to tell you where the issues are, because we are seeing a crash left lane I-41-45, the south ramp from Good Hope Road east. And we're seeing kind of nasty traffic that may be somewhat Friday commuter related, as well as that crash there. Let's see if I can bring up the traffic map here and give you a better idea where the problems are. Because I-41, you see it there? The kind of upper left of your screen. Yeah, some traffic in both directions. Granted, there often is traffic in that location in the rush hour, but this is a little early for our rush hour. There is an issue over on I-43. There's been a crash on the ramp, on the WIS 145 ramp at Fond du Lac Avenue. I-43, you can see the crash. It's backing up both on the southbound sides. Look, it's just gotten actually longer there. And on the northbound sides. Now that's construction related as well. as there is construction in the area. And anytime, even if there's a fender bender in the construction area, that can be a mess. So we'll keep watching. Let's see. Let's bounce around our cameras. Yeah, okay, here we go. Here's some of the backups. Hawley Road. Seeing some of that traffic as it backs up here on your Friday. So with Summerfest going on, a lot of events outside, people heading up to Road America, people heading out for a weekend on what could be, it is going to be our hottest weekend of the summer so far. Just be mindful of the traffic. Maybe pop it in your map and just you'll get an idea of where the backups are as we continue to see a lot of red on the radar right now as we continue to watch that traffic map. Another spot we're seeing a lot of red on our, well, it's actually kind of a pinkish purple. Extreme heat warning. Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha until Monday at 7. So we're seeing that extreme heat in those 3 counties, although Tom Walk said that it is kind of funny because it's going to be hot everywhere. I mean, you're going up to Elkhart Lake, you're not in the extreme heat warning, but guess what? It's still going to be extremely hot there. What's making it extra dangerous is it's not going to get very cold at night. It's going to be upper 70s, close to 80 degrees, and not really dipping below that. So if you don't have air conditioning or it is hot, that's going to be an issue. As you can see on the radar here, it's just there's nothing to deal with as far as rain or clouds right now, but we do have the sunshine beating down and starting to heat things up. 82 in Milwaukee tomorrow. Things really get hot as we go Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's the feel-like temperature. That's what the heat indices will be. So we got the temperatures in the 90s, but it's going to feel even hotter than that. In many spots, it'll feel like over 100 degrees, especially on Sunday, which is looking like the hottest day of this 4-day stretch. And we're not going to get relief until next Wednesday, it appears, from the FOX 6 weather experts as we continue to follow all of that heat. So just be careful out there. Some tips we heard from our UW doctors. Make sure you're drinking lots of water. And obviously you're going to sweat a lot, but it's when you start to feel aches or muscle cramps, that is your body telling you it is dehydrated and it needs help. If you start to feel dizzy, you need to sit down, you need to get in the shade, you need to get in the air conditioning if possible. If you're at Summerfest and you see someone pass out, that's a possibility. Make sure you call 911, get help needed right away. That is signs of heat stroke and can be really dangerous if people don't get help right away. So I just want to show you some of the shots we're watching. We're still waiting for this Kristi Noem press conference. Not sure if that's going to happen. Here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, we had the president leaving the White House moments ago. He was boarded Marine One. He's off to New Jersey. So that's making news right now. We're following the heat here in Milwaukee. What will happen in the next few minutes? Stay with us here.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Handelman from the Wisconsin Live Desk. Hey, it is Friday. We are this close to the weekend, or many of you are already on your weekend because maybe you're out of work. You're watching us here, streaming live exclusively here on Fox Local, and we're telling you everything that is happening right now in the Midwest, in Wisconsin, and beyond. New picture just popped up for us. We saw the president take off from the White House. Live picture, Morristown, New Jersey, as the president does not travel like the rest of us. And when he wants to get from Washington, D.C. to New Jersey, which obviously is not that far, but still it would take us a bit to get through all that traffic, the president boarded Marine One, got on Air Force One, has landed now here in Morristown, New Jersey, and there you see Marine One about to take him off to the golf course in his resort where he's holding an event tonight. And you may be thinking, wait a second, I thought he got on Marine One. How could it already be up there in New Jersey? Well, it's actually a different helicopter, but anytime the president gets on a Marine aircraft, it's Marine One. So there are several of them. They position them to be in spots. The door is open. I'm not sure if we have any sound here from this image from New Jersey. Let's see if we do. Oh, yes, we do. Okay, so you can hear the jets of Air Force One. And we're going to see President Trump get off. He's holding an event tonight. It is called MAGA Inc. I'm guessing this will be a fundraiser occurring at his resort. And there you see a member of the military get off and make sure that this will be good. Now, little known fact about these planes, there are stairs both for the front of the plane and the back of the plane, and the only person you're going to see come out of that door is the President of the United States. But what about all the other people that are on the plane, like all the press pool and all the different people who work for the President? They usually, at this time, while all the cameras are focused on that door, are going out a back door. And they're running in the vans nearby, but you don't see any of that because every time a president arrives or leaves, there's some pomp and circumstance to it, to seeing the most powerful man in the world arrive and depart a location. There are usually people there to greet him at different spots, depending where he's going. I'm not sure I saw anyone here to greet the president in New Jersey, but again, we will see the president. Hopefully, we only have a couple more minutes here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, so someone better tell President Donald Trump that, because we want to see him before this show ends here. So, yeah, it's always interesting. And, again, just like Marine One, anytime the president is on a Marine aircraft, it's called Marine One. Anytime the president gets on an airplane that is a Air Force aircraft, it is Air Force One. So, in theory, the president, if he jumped on a little Cessna that's owned by the Air Force, that would be Air Force One. It's not necessarily a specific aircraft. It is any aircraft that the president is on with that military branch. So the president, again, he's got a fundraiser. Kristi Noem, her event has just started out there in Detroit, Michigan. I'll just show that to you real quick. She has not taken the stage as we're seeing some speakers here, as they're talking northern border security in Detroit right now. So Kristi Noem expected to speak at this event. The good thing about the Wisconsin Live Desk, you can follow all of these stories throughout the day. So we're about to take Open Record, our podcast, but here in the app, you can follow these stories. We keep our team will post them as the day continues. So stay with us here on the Fox Local app throughout today, throughout the weekend. Of course, we've got FOX6 News at 4 coming up, a little over an hour away. We're getting ready for that. And our reporters are all over Southeast Wisconsin bringing you the biggest stories. Be safe out there this weekend. Make sure you stay cool, because we want you right back here on Monday. And if we miss the president walking off the plane, don't worry, we'll have it for you here on Fox Local. Open Record is next. Thanks for joining us and taking some time out of your day. You've been watching the Wisconsin Live Desk.
In Milwaukee, it's as big as any holiday.
This for me is like Christmas.
Maybe bigger.
I live for coming to Summerfest.
The kind of summer celebration
I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
That makes you want to get down on your knee and thank heaven you live here.
Just feel the vibe of Milwaukee.
No matter your taste,
Meatloaf, Rick Springfield,
Moody Blue.